Minnesota right now defensively is. I mean, Tibbs has got that reputation as a guy who comes in and gets that done pretty quick. But I mean, it's not something you can do overnight, right?
Oh, it's tough to do with a young team, but they're on the right track. He's doing an excellent job with that young team. But like with any young team, it's just hard to institute something overnight. They have a lot of firepower offensively, and they'll get there defensively, and they're coming. I mean, they have their moments where they get stops, and because they do have the length, athleticism, speed, and quickness to execute the defensive philosophy he has.
Is it frustrating for coaches to try to keep kids, young teams focused when you're losing close games?
Well, we were here when my first year here. It's difficult. You got to be creative in your ways of structuring practice, creative in your ways of presenting game plans, and when you go in knowing that your odds are against you, against the San Antonio, so to speak. But again, guys learn, they pick it up, they develop, and it takes time. I wish there was a magic wand where you could just wave it over a young player and say, Shazam, you're Michael Jordan, not even Mike, yes, that ain't even fair, but a solid NBA player. And it doesn't happen overnight, even with the best of college prospects coming in.
How do you think Andrew Wiggin's game has evolved in the short time
he's a prime example. A young kid is a world of talent, one of the most talented players in the league. But the expectations on was so unfair on the young man that everybody expected him to be like today's LeBron or yesterday's Kobe or whatever, and it's totally unfair to Andrew to put those type of expectations on him, because in time he has an opportunity to be that type of player, but today he's a very, very talented player, but he's nowhere on the level of those guys right now today just because of father time. I mean, just give the kid a few more years and just hopefully he doesn't figure it out tomorrow night.
Understanding it's still early, but is Jonas's defense coming along the way that you guys expected?
It is. I mean, it is. He's another example. The expectations on Jonas coming in were he's the best European center in the league and all that, and I understand all that, but he's one of those kids that it takes time. I mean, big guys especially takes a little bit more time, and he's coming. He's making steps, progress. Right now, he's in a slump. I mean, and it's not his fault. We've played some teams that the matchups are unbelievable, tough for him. At Cleveland, we tried to play him at 5 against Fry, and we got lit up, and it's not his fault. I mean, his instincts takes him to the rim, and that's the new NBA. He got 5 shooting the threes now. So that's another area where he's going to have to learn to play. If he's going to stay on the floor, is to guard perimeter 5s, so to speak, and that's tough for all the NBA, not just Jonas. You look around the league, and that's why they have an edge at this moment.
How about a kid like Towns? Has got to be
Towns is
the
same type of guy. Dang is their 5, but Towns will play the 5 quite a bit. So he goes out on the floor, shoots the 3, takes people off the dribble, 5 men off the dribble. So it's a new thing. But again, Jonas has the feet. He has the toughness to do it. It's just going to take time for him to learn it, as Pirtle, as Lucas. I think Lucas is probably more athletic and athletically equipped to do it, but his instincts also take him in. The other night, he knew exactly what to do, and as soon as his instincts took him inside, there's Fry shooting a 3 or Love shooting a 3, and those instincts are hard to break and to do. But that's why the coaches are watching tons and tons of film with him, working with him. We try to replicate it in practice for him to learn it, and it just takes time.
He was shooting about 30%, I think, since he came back from his ankle injury. Is that a slump, or is it?
Again, I think a lot of it, and probably I'll take the blame for it in and out of the lineup because of the matchup situations that doesn't, garner a lot of confidence, and that probably has jerked him around a little bit. But again, every player goes through it, a situation where they're not shooting the ball as well, not scoring the way they like to. But again, he's not going to forget how to score. He'll bounce back. But again, at the same time, we got to continue to try to win games, and that's our mission, our goal, and as he fights through it.
You played that lineup the other night really small with Patrick and Damari. Could you try that more often, do you think, not to junk up the game, but to give you a...
No, I think we did it against Golden State. We did a little bit against Golden State. Again, just trying to combat a guy like Draymond Green at 5 and a guy like Fry at 5. And again, unless you're dominating that matchup, you've got to match it. So that's one reason why we did it.
Did you do it so teams react to you?
Well, we did to hopefully pull Fry out and have him to guard Patrick Patterson a little bit on the wing, on the perimeter. Love would have to guard, try to guard DC a little bit. So we did that. It helped us a little bit. I know our plus-minus was better in that situation. But, again, it's more of a chess game as much as anything else. And 2, we were having trouble scoring. That was another issue that we had, and that helped us a little bit spread the floor and score a little bit.
This is Lucas's first run. I think he's never played this much in his life. Have you been a little bit impressed, or is this what you expected? Is he giving you more than you
No, I'm really impressed the way Lucas is coming. He's growing. He's like you said, he's a young kid. Well, we're the 3rd youngest team in the league right now, and his time on the court is growing. And a lot of things that he's seeing now in the NBA are new, and his length is helping us in the low post, trying to help him, show him where he can absorb contact and get bumped and hold his spot in the paint. All those things are new. So he's growing, playing well for us. And it's nothing against Pirtle. Jakob, with his time in there, will also be able to do the same thing. But all 3 of our bigs are relatively youngsters in the veteran NBA league of what we're trying to do. We're trying to win and develop them at the same time, and that's our job. That's what we're trying to do, and they're learning as we go along.
I know you spend the vast majority of your time with the players that are available to play, but what can you learn from Dwane, who has been rehabbing basically the first major injury of his entire career? What can you learn through that process about him?
About his stick-to-itness as far as working. He's been working hard. Again, it's very difficult because those guys do a lot of work back in the back as you go along. He hadn't been cleared to get on the court yet, so it's been hard. I thought he had a great summer, Eric. As far as his play this summer was great, and I thought the shoulder thing was a bump on the radar, but sometimes it makes you a better player, better person. I think he'll be able to learn watching and not having the pressure of trying to play as we're going along.
I also know you spend a hell of a lot of time on Twitter in your spare time, and he recently tweeted at somebody that there's a difference between being a bad player, which he was accused of by somebody who doesn't know much, and being stuck behind 2 really good players. Is that something, I think he understands that, obviously. Is that something that, is that a good position for a kid to be in, do you think? And do you think
learn? I think you always learn, and I think you would say we're in one of the top teams in the league, and he's playing behind probably 2 of the top point guards. I put Corey Joseph in that group. As well, I think Corey's one of the top backup point guards in the league, and Kyle is an all-star for a reason. So, you have to learn from those, and once he gets back on the court, he can go against them every day in practice. That would have been a plus for him if he was healthy. So, to answer your question in a roundabout way, yes, it does help him playing behind those guys, but sooner or later he's going to want to play when he's ready. So, but as much as you can play around, I remember Eric Snow in Seattle playing behind Gary Payton, getting his butt kicked every day, and it made him a starting point guard on a finals team. So those situations are helpful if you have the discipline and patience to stick to it and stay in that position.
So coming back to that first question, does this sort of rehab process sort of prove to you in a little way that he might have that sort of makeup?
Well, no, he had it. I mean, he had it even before that. He knew the situation he was in last year, Eric, behind behind Corey, behind Kyle, and he was learning it then. He got in at the end of the season last year in some games, and I thought he showed that of his improvement.
And he's not the only one here that's going through that situation. I mean, you've praised Norm for his ability to stay positive, stay ready, Yak as well. Do those guys sort of help each other going through that same sort of process? Is that a good thing to have?
Yeah, I hope so. I hope they look at Norm and see, here's a guy that was down in the D League. You know, people you barely thought we was crazy about playing him in the Indiana playoff game, but he was ready to play. I mean, he was physically ready to play in that game, and was rewarded for his hard play and how he performed in practice in the D League. So, you know, that should be a good example of there's no discrimination of guys working hard if guys going to come in and play and get the job done. And so I think Norm is a good example for Yak and for Dwane to see, and also for Pascal. You know, he's buying time now till Sully comes back, and it's going to be, you know, tough for him in that situation too. When Sully comes back, you got Pat. So it's going to be a logjam at that position also. So we got some excellent young kids. Like I said, we're the third youngest team in the league, and the guys that are in front of them, it's not like they're 20-year vets. They're, you know, they're not too long in the tooth either. So we got some guys learning from other guys, and it's a good situation to have.
Do you enjoy, as a coach, having competition at various spots?
Love it. I think it's great. I think it keeps us all on our toes. Competition, you know, always adversity, competition, all that keeps you on your toes, and I think it makes you a better player. I think Lucas now playing well will help Jonas to see, you know, take a deep breath and say, hey, look, you know, I've got to either pick it up or, you know, so Jakob, I think, causes up competition for Lucas. So it's healthy as long as they handle it in the right way, in which our guys do. And I think in the roundabout way, it makes us a better team.
Coach, do you know which game Damari's not going to play? You want to tell us?
I don't know. I don't know what day it is Doug, but no, it's Wednesday, okay. Tomorrow's Thursday, okay. We'll see.
I got to ask.